The last ones are straight up irregular. And what we mean, thanks to Senora Mara for that term, I like it. What that means, straight up irregular, is just that it doesn't follow any pattern besides its own. So, straight up irregular verbs. The ones that I mark as such, our Spanish one book marked tener as a straight up irregular one time. Again, it just has two of the patterns. I don't know that it's straight up irregular. Estar, haber, ir, and ser. These are extremely popular, extremely well used verbs, as you'll see. So we'll start with estar because it's only straight up irregular. It's like ver with bail. It's only straight up irregular because nothing else is like it. All right, so it's not hard, especially when you're speaking, because again, it sounds the same basically. So it has an irregular yo form like dar, doy. It's yo estoy. Again, this is to be. Yo estoy, I am. So you would use this for example, for a feeling. All right, ¿Cómo estás? How are you? Yo estoy bien. I am well. All right, or yo estoy regular. I'm okay. Or yo estoy mal. I'm doing poorly. I'm not great. I'm not good. So yo estoy, and then in the other forms, you have accent marks. All right, to an English speaker, to someone who's a native English speaker who's written English they're a good portion of their lives. The accent mark is hard to remember. We don't have a lot of meaningful accent marks. You know, you might put it on a word that was brought by another language like cafe, like cafe, but other words, otherwise, we don't really use it a whole lot meaningfully. Spanish is not like that. They do use it meaningfully. You have to put these accent marks when you write, or else in some cases it means a different word. Estas, these, esta, those. But when it's the verb, it's not pronounced that way, and it's not written without the accent mark. So, for example, ¿Cómo estás? Right? Usted está. Él, ella está. Ustedes, ellos, ellas están. Right? So you can't, when you're pronouncing it, you're probably not going to make the mistake, but you can't leave it off when you write it, or else it means something different in these two cases. Estamos is a regular AR verb ending. Estamos, no change there. Estáis if you're from Spain, or if you're learning Spanish, there's no difference there. They always have an accent mark that nosotros. So, estar, the first quote unquote straight up irregular, but not hard to remember, just as long as you remember estoy. This one really earns its label. All right, ser. It also means to be, and that's something to be addressed in another video, perhaps in the future. If you took Spanish 1, you probably got a good introduction to this. So to be is also the definition of ser and estar as well. And you can see it has the oi, soy. All right, that one is the only one that's even close to regular, really, because the other ones are straight up irregular. Tú eres. You are nice. Tú eres simpática, or tú eres simpático, depending on who you're talking to. Usted es. Él, ella es. Es is probably the easiest to remember, especially when you're talking about él or ella, because it's like is. That's what it means. Is. All right, in some circumstances. Again, estar also means to be, so está could mean is. Usted es. Él, ella es. Nosotros somos, nosotras somos, sois, if you're in Spain, ustedes, ellos, ellas son. All right, with straight up irregulars, and really with any irregular, it's just going to take a lot of practice. you're going to have to practice these and get them stuck in your head. All right, but especially with straight up irregulars, because there's just not a whole lot of pattern there. It's a little bit of a relationship, but not much. It is another kind of irregularity altogether. If you look at the screen and you didn't know what verb that was, you would think it was just a regular verb with an irregular yo form. So voy, vas, va, vamos, van. If you weren't looking at the top, what verb would you think this was? If it were a regular verb, the infinitive would be var, but it's not. It's ir, to go, ir, to go. The problem was in the evolution between Latin and Spanish. Ire, the verb to go, didn't fit the pattern of conjugation that was developing. So they borrowed another word, vadere, which is where we get the word to wade, like to go through water, to wade. Vadere was taken in, brought in when it needed to be to fill out this conjugation. So it became voy, vas, va, vamos, van, to go. Right. So it is pretty straight up irregular when you know that the infinitive is ir. So if you want to say we go, how would you say that? Nosotros or nosotras vamos, vamos. All right, and you hear people say vamos, vamos. It also functions as sort of a nosotros command. We go. Let's go. Haber is something I'm not going to really address really deeply here. It is the helping verb to have, not like tener, which is I have something. It's the helping verb to have. When we talk about, eventually, when we talk about the perfect tenses, I have done this before. I have taught this lesson before. That have, the helping verb have, is haber. In the context of Spanish 1 and 2 and everyday present tense, haber is relevant with regards to I and no I. I is completely divorced from conjugation, really. It's an old construction that just means there is. It's a verb, but it's not like any other. You just use it in the way that it is. I, without worrying about conjugation. There is. Hay muchas palabras en la pantalla. There are a lot of words on the screen. No hay elefantes. There aren't any elephants. It could mean there is or there are. That's my mistake there. Let me write it on the screen so you don't. So it could mean there is. It also means there are. It's not conjugated, so it doesn't worry about singular or plural. But it comes from haber originally. Haber. No I means there is or there are. No there isn't, and there aren't, depending on what follows it. So let's do a little practice. Eres, is it tú or ellos? It's tú. Tú eres. Tú eres. Son. Ustedes o yo. It's ustedes. Ustedes son. Y'all are. But the yo form of ser. What's the yo form? Yo soy. Yo soy. Can you fill in those blank spaces? On your own sheet of paper or in your head? Can you fill in those blank spaces? All right, pause it if you need more time. This is ir, right at the top. Ir. Yo voy. Tú vas, you go. Usted va, you sir, you ma'am go. Él, ella va as well. Remember, usted, él, ella forms are the same. Nosotros vamos. Ustedes, ellos, ellas van. Voy, vas, va, vamos, van. Can you identify the errors here? Can you identify what is wrong on the screen? This is estar, to be. What's wrong there? Right. So pause it, take all the time you need. But I'm going to assume that you've already done that. So let's move forward. Yo estoy. Right? If it were a regular verb, the O alone will be enough, but it's not. Yo estoy, I am. Yo estoy bien. Tú estás. You are. Tú estás bien. Espero. Está. No problem there. Estamos. No problem there. This isn't a mistake. I just didn't put it on there. Estáis. So maybe you did that, thinking it was a mistake. That accent mark is over there. And the A should be. Ustedes, ellos, ellas is lacking the accent mark. Están, not están, están. A trained ear, once you practice this enough, you'll be able to tell the difference if you can't already.